Have you ever been listening to music or watching a video and wondered, why does the play button look like that? Has it always been this triangle shape? And who decided that this is how it was going to look? I suppose we should find out. This is something. The play button is a symbol that we interact with every single day. Whether you're listening to music on Spotify or watching a YouTube video, it's there. But it didn't just come out of nowhere. In fact, all of these other symbols that we associate with playing back audio and video, formerly known as transport controls, have a long history. And to get to the start, we need to go back to the 1960s, when the reel-to-reel tape recorder was in its heyday. Before the internet, before CDs and DVDs, audio and video was often recorded onto tape. There's a whole history of ways in which we've been able to record audio and video, but when we're looking at commercial mainstream mediums, tape was an ideal choice throughout the 20th century, as it was often cheaper to manufacture and more compact. And when we look at how tape works, it starts to make sense why the play symbol looks the way that it does. On something like a standard cassette, tape runs between two spools, which rotate clockwise and move the tape from the left to the right, allowing the tape to be read and played back. And while the play symbol kinda just looks like a triangle on a slant, it also looks like the head of an arrow pointing to the right, representing the movement of the tape. So I guess that makes sense. The symbol just looks like an arrow pointing to the right. But why not look like this then? Or why not just write the word play or pause on the button? Well, to answer that last question, we need to think about why we use symbols for anything. When you think about it, symbols can be recognised by anyone speaking any language. Using symbols to represent a word instead of using the word itself completely removes any language barrier, which is why they're extremely common on road signs, toilets, and other public spaces. And for those manufacturing a product like a cassette player, it means that they don't have to create hundreds of variations to support each language. They can just make one, and we can understand what the button is expected to do at a glance. So back to that first question, why does the symbol look like this and not this? Well, it's believed by some that the whole set of transport controls were designed by Swedish engineer Philip Olsson in the 1960s, with reel-to-reel tape recorders being the first commercial application that uses the iconic symbol, although I couldn't seem to find a definitive source for this. I also couldn't seem to find anything specifically on why the symbol was designed in this way either, but we can make some guesses. It's simple, compact, and easy to see and understand even at a small scale, so whether it was on a large tape deck or a tiny cassette player, it was legible. So how did this specific design become popular? It's easy to assume that the brands like Ampex and Philips, the ones that were first manufacturing these early commercial tape recorders, were using these symbols across a whole range of products. It would then make sense for other brands to follow suit, because it's what people became used to. Over the years leading up to now, these transport controls remained a prominent design in media recording and playback. Whether it was a cassette player, a VHS recorder, a DVD player, and so on. And when we made the transition into digital media, where this design is more often seen on a screen rather than physical buttons, it made natural sense to continue using them. I'm sure at some point along the way, we could have opted for a different symbol. But why do that when everyone already knows what the play button does? It's just one of those things that stuck around, and is probably here to stay.